welcome back to my channel. It's Christina Ellison. Today I wanted to talk with you and share with you how to block schedule in your homeschool day. I am currently teaching 3 of my children, my 10-year-old who's in 4th grade, my 6-year-old who's in 1st grade, and then I have a 4-year-old who's in pre-K. And I've noticed a lot of people don't know how to get it all done, or they struggle with getting it all done. And trust me, I can struggle. I have my days of struggling, but this is how we do it in our house. And I hope that it encourages you and maybe gives you some ideas of how to do this at your house. So I wanted to first start out by showing you our schedule. I drew this up, I wrote this up at the beginning of our school year. We're now to week 5, and this is kind of our rough schedule. And I'll kind of tell you where we make changes if we need to, or where, you know, if this doesn't work, our plan B pretty much. This is plan A. If plan A doesn't work, we have our plan B, which I don't have written out, but I always have in the back of my head. So, as you can see, 8 a.m. is when I want everyone down for breakfast. I'm normally up by 6:30 or 7, and that's when I have my quiet time, and I read my Bible and do my devotional and at least drink half my coffee if I can. And a lot of times my youngest, who's 9 months old, is up with me. She'll just crawl around while I read. Then at 9 a.m. I start school with Hannah. Hannah is in pre-K. I have each of their books here to show you what we're using if you haven't seen my other videos. So she is doing Voyage of Discovery. This is by My Father's World, and it's their pre-K program. They give you a schedule of what to do each day. I'll go to day 1, or week 1, I should say. So they list out what to do each day. So I just literally start at the beginning and I work my way down. And if I don't have the supplies for it, we don't do it. Or I'll try and get to the store that night and we'll do it the next day. I'm very flexible with my schedule through the book because I know that it won't always happen. And that just because we have to skip something, it's not the end of the world. She doesn't know that we're skipping it. And so it's okay. We can do it another day. We can save it for summer if we need some. A lot of times if it's activities, we can do it then. Or a lot of times the way that My Father's World is built is you're kind of learning and building upon the same thing. And I think that's with all education. You're kind of learning the same thing, but you're building upon it. And so if you miss it one year, most likely you're going to kind of go over it again the next year, and it will be just a little bit more advanced, but you're still going to learn that same concept. So this takes us about 45 minutes. Maybe I'd say 30 minutes to an hour. That's not bad for preschool. And she would want to go on for probably 2 hours. She loves this. She absolutely loves this. So it's well worth it for our family. Okay, so let's go on to the schedule. Continue on. Okay, so after Hannah at 10 a.m., I schedule just 1 hour. And so that you know, during these times where I'm doing school, the goal is either the baby is napping. If she's been up at 6, she'll probably be ready to go down by 9. If not 9, by 10. And so I'll normally try and have her nap during this time. If not, she's really good about just crawling around on the floor, and I have a toy basket in our schoolroom for her. So we'll do that. And my other kids, that's when I allow like educational TV. So they'll watch PBS Kids, they will watch a movie, or they can play. I'll have Play-Doh out, or kinetic sand is a big one, or beans. But I have to be careful with a lot of these now with the baby crawling because she'll come and eat them. So a lot of times right now it's just TV, which is fine. It's just a season. Okay, let me continue on. I will continue on. Okay, next at 10 o'clock, MG, that's Mary Grace. She's my 1st grader, and we do school for an hour, and I'll show you her book. So again, it's the first grade, My Father's World. And this book has been used with several kids. And it was given to us by a friend. And so it's got even more writing in it. So ignore the dates. They're not correct. But again, I just go through. And we try and get as much done as we can. And it looks like, you know, in the beginning weeks, it would go really quickly. Now that we're farther in, and to week 5, it takes us a bit longer, but we can still get it done in about an hour. And sometimes she needs motivation because learning to read more than just 3-letter words is hard. And so I always buy some little packs of M&Ms for motivation to get through the day, or you know, a special, you know, juice or something, because sometimes learning is hard and I want it to still be fun and enjoyable. So that's how we get done with this harder age, or grade, I should say. This is a hard grade. If you look on any of the Facebook groups about first grade, it's just a hard year. So that's how we get through it. Okay, so once she is done, we do lunch at 11 o'clock, and that's when we do our read aloud. And I'll put a card up here, I can't remember which side, of our read aloud lunch basket. And that's when we get a lot of our picture books done, or from our book lists, or just, you know, right now it's fall, so our fall book lists that I'll find online, or we'll just pull from our personal library here. After that, at 12 o'clock is rest time. Sometimes it gets pushed a little further, and between this 11 and 12, sometimes to 12:30, we go outside if it's nice. And that is the time everyone needs to get wiggles out, and we just enjoy the outdoors. We play, no screens, anything. So at rest time, all my kids get to go either have a personal electronic and they can just veg out for a little bit, or they can play, or like where one of my daughters is, I always have a big exercise ball, and she'll be watching something, but you can hear her rolling because it's upstairs, rolling back and forth and jumping on it. And so she's still like getting a lot of movement, even though she might be focused on the screen. So that's rest time. At 1 o'clock B, that's Bethany, my 4th grader, we start school with her. So again, I'll show you her book. So for her, she's going through Creation to the Greeks. Now I could have smushed them together, but I found that my 1st grader just doesn't have the attention span quite yet to be a part of the family cycle. She does sit with us because we all do family read aloud, and you'll see that further down for she sits with us during our read aloud times in the evening, our chapter books. But to get through some of the more textbooks in this, I think I would lose her interest, and she would she needs to be able to move, so school needs to be shorter for her, so it would take too long. So for Bethany, I schedule about, I think it's 2 hours. Yes, 2 hours for her to get school done. It does not always take 2 hours. Again, I'll show you a quick grid, and you can see, as you can see in My Father's World, it's just the same. Their grid just grows a little bigger each year. Okay, so here's the sample grid. And I will just write in like what book what page number, or what lesson we're on for math, and write it in. And like I added our own spelling in, so I made sure I marked that up. And like reading time, like I write all in it. And I always do pencil so I can erase it, or I'll just move my marks. I'm somehow able to keep track. It doesn't really bug me. I know for some people this would like drive them crazy. But for me, it doesn't. Because I will most likely be using this another year because I have so many more coming up. So after school with her is always our free time, playtime again. We go outside. I tend to just go out with them because I notice I just need some fresh air. Us mamas, we need fresh air too. I think it's easy to get in the rut of just sitting in the house on our phones, when they have free time, but sometimes it's nice just to get outside and get that vitamin D when we can, or just get the fresh air. So I'll go out then too. At 4 o'clock, I start prepping for dinner, and I either make them stay outside, or again, we're in the season of babies. I let them watch some more TV because that's just how we roll right now. And so a lot of times we know like Wild Kratts is on TV, and so that one I don't mind them watching, or I try and only allow it to be educational, but that doesn't always happen. So we do that, or we do I let them listen to music. We have a little playroom / the baby's room, and I let them just go jam out to music, and they dance around and play with the baby while I get dinner going. And the goal is always dinner at 5 o'clock. That doesn't always happen. And you can see that's the end, but there is even more. So normally we have then chores, evening chores that they've got to do. And then, yes?
Can I show them something?
What?
Look what I made in school. It's for art. You have to get to Tutankhamun's treasure. Tell Daddy to keep this in.
Okay, I'll talk to him. Okay, so there was so we're enjoying the art with the curriculum, so that's quite fun. So I forgot what I was saying. Okay, so we do chores in the evening, and we rotate our chores. I can show our chore chart that I actually found from another YouTuber, but it's very simple, but it helps us out. And then also, and then after that, in the evening, after teeth are brushed, we do family read-alouds, which is our chapter books that either, most of the times they correspond with the curriculum, and then we do Bible time. So that is how we roughly do this. Our week also at the end of the day is normally in the evenings. Either on Wednesdays is Awanas for church, Thursdays is family game nights, and Fridays is family movie night. So at least 3 days a week we have something consistent in the evening for the girls. We used to do library night, but right now going to the library is not happening with the baby and with the 2-year-old who destroys books or loses books. It's just not happening. So anyway, so there you go. That is our Plan A schedule. This is if all my day goes perfectly. But our days don't always go perfectly. So what happens if your day does not go perfectly planned? A lot of times we can get in a rut and not then just give up. And some days we just need to say, okay, we will start back up tomorrow. But if you still want to keep pushing on, and if you feel like, you know what, we still need to get this done. I feel like God is wanting us to still get this done for the day and not just your own personal wants. Then what you can do is do school at nap times. And that's why my oldest, we do school in the afternoon because hopefully everyone is napping. Also, if you have an appointment that day, you can always bring stuff with you. I always have clipboards that I can shove their paper on, and we'll take that with us. I'll grab a few. I've got a big bag, and we'll just take that with us. If that's still not an option, there's always the option to do school at night when Daddy's home. He can distract the littler ones, and we have had many seasons where I have babies and there is no school getting done during the day. I'm either nursing or feeding a baby, and it's just not happening, and that's okay. I'm learning more and more to just give myself grace, and my school day does not need to look like a traditional school day. It's got to work for our family. And so we will do school in the evenings after Daddy's home, or sometimes I have one daughter who is a night owl, and she is able to stay up late and do school. Like we could start it at 8:30 and finish at 10, and she sometimes does even better. She gets her second wind, and we just get it done, and she gets to wake up a little bit later the next day, and it's no big deal. So just make your schedule work for your family. What season are you in right now? Are you able to get everything done that you want to get done? And if not, that's okay. There are days that are all checked, every box is checked, and there are days not every box is checked, and it's okay. I want to encourage you to start your day off giving it to the Lord. Especially if you're a believer, that's what we're called to do. We're not really in control of our days. He is, and He will guide your day. If you don't get this stuff done, then maybe it just was not in His will for you to get it done that day, and that's okay. Don't beat yourself up. This is just a journey that you're all on together. You're learning together. Just make it fun. And, and sometimes it won't be fun. Sometimes we just have to work hard. But, you could always give a little prize at the end, give a little piece of candy, or a high five. And that's the reward in doing that hard work. And that's what my kids get excited about. So I hope this was an encouragement to you. And I hope this helped you to get through all those teacher's manuals. Eek! So, this is not sponsored by My Father's World, but I definitely feel like it has worked so well for our family. And I just encourage you, if you haven't looked into My Father's World, give it a try. Their teacher's manuals are so helpful. I am not having to do a ton of prep. I rarely do any prep before school that day because they lay it out so smoothly for me. I can easily grab something from a shelf and we get going. So, okay, so thank you so much for stopping by today, and I hope this gave you some tips and tricks, and I hope to see you at the next video. All right, bye-bye.